Hi, I'm Kathy Ferris, stay-at-home mom, stand-up comedian, snack cake enthusiast, and a Regis alum. And this is OutREGIS. It's a place where I get to connect and catch up with other alum in the comfort of my home, wearing yoga pants and a dressy top. Let's get started. Today's episode is filled with drama. The good kind. Theater. Children's theater. Good children's theater. Our guest is a talented Sharon Thorpe Doucette. She's an educator, a mom, and an artistic genius. Is she more well-read than me? Yeah. Does she have better hair than me? I don't know, I went a little single white female on her. But let's buckle up and get to know the Tony-nominated, which is the Theater Educator of the Year award, Sharon Thorpe Doucette. So excited to have you.
I'm so happy to be here. I mean, teaching in front of a computer is a whole new world. It's nice to talk to, I love my students a lot, but it's nice to talk to grown-ups every once in a while. Instead of having class, watching kids like in their, Iron Man pajamas as they're talking to me about drama. So this is nice. I enjoy it.
I don't know how mature I'm going to be in this conversation, but we'll try, right?
That's okay. I'll feel right at home then.
Okay, good.
You could make some like middle school fart jokes and stuff. That'd be awesome because then I'll feel like I'm just back in my classroom.
Okay, that's actually my opener when I'm out in clubs. I start with a fart joke.
As it should be.
Right. Why did you choose Regis?
When I was little, my dad was a teacher too, and he taught in Waltham, and at least once a year, I would always go into class with him and hang out with his high school students in his biology class. And going from Ashland to Waltham, I always drove by Regis. And so in my head, that's what college was supposed to be. Like I would always look at this pristine campus and the buildings, I'm like, that's college. And so when I started looking at schools myself, I just was absolutely in love with the campus. I loved that it was not that big. I liked the fact that it was close to Boston, but it was its own entity. And I did love the fact that it was all women. Like, I think I was definitely in the socially awkward category. And so the idea that going to college and just being around, like, 'cause I had really awesome high school friends that were women. And so having those same kind of bonds in college, that was really important to me. And none of like the social drama that I had in high school. And so there was something about it that just spoke to me. Most of my memories are in two places. They're either in the mini theater, that's now Campus Police, or in the basement of College Hall where the graphic design studios were. And I think those two places I spent most of my time. The mini theater, like the bright orange carpet, like that had big pieces of silver duct tape holding the carpet together that I'm pretty sure that Sister Gretchen Bogan put down herself, and like the mustard yellow curtain, and like the fact that you had to, like, if you wanted to make an entrance, like you have to leave the building, like you would actually have to go outside of stage left, walk around College Hall and come back in the other side. Like I just love that so much. Like that room, my best friends are from that room, my best memories are from that room. I actually can say that like all the things that I went to Regis for, I've used professionally at one time or another. Like I was a graphic designer in my 20s, and that opened up a door where I started working with some artists that, it was kind of very Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland. Hey, let's put on a show. And we opened up a theater company in Boston, Boston Theater Works. And it was a great location. It was right in the theater district. The location address was awesome, but we were in the bottom floor of the parking garage right beside the Wang Center. So it was like the address was fantastic, but then you'd have moments where like Ophelia's dying and Hamlet's reaching out to her and like a car alarm would go off in the background. So, so after graphics, I went and worked professionally in the theater and worked around Boston. I worked down in Nashville for a little while and then got my equity card. When my husband and I moved back to Massachusetts, we were still working in the theater. He works professionally in the theater too. And so he and I, when we got engaged, I decided that I kind of wanted to start thinking about doing something different. And I taught some classes when I was doing graphic design and art. And I thought, you know what, I started school as this idea of being a teacher, so let's give that a try. And so I started teaching some classes and directing school plays, and then eventually started doing that full time and started pulling away from the theater professionally because working nights and weekends with a new baby wasn't that great for us. So I started doing, working more in school systems, and eventually I just loved it. Like, I think when I was at Regis, I did my observation at an elementary school classroom, and I was terrified of the small children. Like, they just too small, and like they come at you. And so I'm like, no, that's not for me. But middle school's awesome. I love middle school kids, and I started teaching and directing middle school, and I started running a summer camp through a theater company. And that was sort of like, now I feel like I found my niche, that it combines the theater, it combines education, theater's all about art. So that was where I ended up. My husband, who is a scenic carpenter, he works for a theater called American Repertory Theater. He started building scenery for me because he married into it and he had no choice. So we just ended up with all these like really weird, strange things that were in our collection or in our house. Like, I have grease lightning, I have a 22-foot pink dragon, you know, things that people shouldn't have in their house and didn't have a place to store them. So we decided that we would start renting them out. And so that was when we went into business and created this company that create set design for small theaters, for schools. Our last name is Do Set, so now we do sets, so we're Do Set Design. And
I love that.
so it's, you know, we do that on the side. We do a lot of that in the summertime. Right now, with all the schools closed, we have scenery locked in buildings all over New England. But, you know, they're safe, they're happy, you know. We've done a lot of
Yeah, I was looking at your website. In fact, we'll put a link to it so people have that. Fascinating. What are some of your favorite pieces that you have? You have an array of stuff.
We've got some, like, it's Peter's, he is a talented boy, and he, like, anything that I can come up with, I'll say, you know, I really need to have like this dragon, and you know, all of a sudden he'll start sketching things out and it appears. The Cinderella carriage that he built, I think, is one of my favorites. I'm not a girly girl princessy person, but you sit in a Cinderella carriage that's gold and sparkles and lights up, and like your Disney fantasies are like right there. So
is that a working carriage?
Yeah, you can actually, like, we wanted to have the wheels really work. So you can't just go to like Walmart and buy wagon wheels. So I went to this place in Pennsylvania called Amish Crossroads, and I had to order actual Amish wagon wheels. And it is the only time that my credit card company has ever called me. And they said, we have a charge here for $600 from Amish Crossroads, and we just want to check and see if that's true. And I'm like, no, actually that's true, but thank you for checking. We're building a wagon. So you could actually like hook a horse up to it, and if you wanted to, drive it down the street. But yeah, it's a real working wagon.
Wow, you can tend the land with it. I love it. Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, you know what? My second wedding, I'm getting that.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm like,
and the dragon, you know, just
well, I think the dragon pulling that would be awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you kind of just make up some of that stuff. Like, okay, Peter, his name's Peter, right?
Yes. Yep.
I don't know what. Now I feel like I'm really stalking you. I just don't know how I knew that. I think we're gonna need some flying monkeys.
Yep. Oh, I have those. We have
flying monkeys.
Not the monkeys, but we have like the winky staffs that they hold. And
of course you do.
I was picking up a prescription at CVS, and I was going through the drive-through, and I had just done a rental pickup, and the man at CVS kind of like looked at me a little strange. I look over, and I've got the winky staffs like leaned across the front seat, and I'm like, yep, no, that's my life. That's my life.
Tell me what's some of your guilty pleasures?
I can't lie. I'm a Harry Potter fan. I read the novels. I've listened to the novels. Jim Dale, the actor that does the audio versions, is like one of my favorite human beings. I could listen to him read the phone book.
Oh, all right.
So that's a guilty pleasure. Like, I just,
Those are very wholesome. Those are very wholesome guilty pleasures.
I
I'll tell
love
you
it.
that.
It's something that my daughter's read all of them, my husband's read all of them, my dad read all of them, and it was just like this, you know, in a household of only 3 people, where all of us often will spend like hours on different floors of the house. We'll
Mm-hmm.
come together at night and like discover that Harry Potter's on for the 700th time. We're like, "Aw," and we'll watch it. So it's a simple thing.
So let's talk about your daughter.
Mhm.
Uh, she's a junior.
Yes. Yep. She's a junior in high school. She is incredibly creative. She is
Mm-hmm.
an artist. She has been in theater her whole life, and we're starting to get to a place where I think she's pulling away from that a little bit more and really wants to do more with art. But she's an incredible artist with like puppetry, and her paintings are just incredible. And so she actually sat me down, and we went out to lunch last year, and she's like, "I have to have a talk with you." I'm like, "Oh God, what?" She's like, "I don't think I want to go into theater." I'm like, "Oh, that's fine. That's fine. That's okay." Like, that's not an issue. Like, you do what you want to do. Like, I was expecting so much more. Um, so she's been looking at art schools, and she loves art. She loves science. She's trying to figure out how to combine those two. I'm like, I don't know, but there's a way somehow. Like, go
Yeah.
illustrate a textbook. And she's got a great sense of humor, like a really dry sense of humor, that some of the creations that she comes up with, like, I'll walk into her room and her pillows will all of a sudden have eyes on them now. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. Yeah. Like, I'll never sleep in here, but whatever makes you happy.
Me and your father are going to be in the living room with that dragon.
Yeah.
We're breaking from our interview for a minute to let you know about May being Mental Health Awareness Month. In the hour that I talked with Sharon, we both talked about mental health, which is a subject that is near and dear to our hearts. And Sharon really goes into detail about how social media played into her mental health.
A few years ago, made a decision because I was in a place that was pretty dark for me, and I just wasn't happy. I went to, and my therapy has been going to theater. Like, I use that as a way of just finding a certain kind of peace with me, because I think that there's something about going to the theater and seeing other people's human struggles that speaks to me. And I went to go see Dear Evan Hansen, which is a big hit. And there's a line in it that he says, "Dear Evan Hansen, today is going to be a good day, and here's why." And that stuck with me. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to do that. Every single day, I'm going to get up and I'm going to write one thing that's positive. And this was in 2017, 18. And there was a lot of things during that time that were not. And, we had unfortunate school shootings, and I had something, family stuff going on. But I'm like, darn it, I am going to find something about this day that is positive. And some days it was just that, I got up and there was still coffee left, and that was a good day. Um, and I started finding out, like, and then I would have there were days that were really, really not good. I remember the day of the Parkland shooting, and I'm like, there's nothing I can put in this on Facebook today that's a good thing. And I went into school, and my coworkers and we were all pretty numb. And I realized the positive of that day is that we had each other. And as awful as it was, we were all experiencing this tragedy that didn't affect any of us per se personally, but we absolutely felt, and we were in it together, and we were the support network for each other. And so I started putting things out there that, weren't chipper happy unicorns and rainbows, but they were real to me. And um, then I did it for a solid year, 365 days. I'm like, this is it. And then I took a break from it. And when I took a break, I realized I was unhappy again. I'm like, wow, this is, I'm not acknowledging the good things. And so I had a pretty lousy, several months that I had just kind of taken myself out of that and stopped. So I needed to get back into it. And then when I came back, I decided I was going to be really honest about what was going on. And for me, that was talking about some mental health issues that I was having. And, I always knew that I had anxiety, especially social anxiety. That was just part of my life. I just never knew you could do anything about it. And then I have, it's hard for me to say that I have depression, because I feel like I've got so many good things that, like, it's, who am I to say that I have depression, because I feel like I'm so fortunate in so many things, and that I'm like, it's different. Depression and being depressed are two different things. And so I started to just put it out there. I'm like, this is who I am, and this is what I'm going through. And the talking about mental health, people are kind of, sometimes we're a little bit squeamish about it, or I think there's a stigma to it, or has been. And as soon as I did that, I was getting instant messages and emails from people from my past, people that I went to Regis with, people that I went to high school with, relatives, old friends, just saying, oh my gosh, I have the same thing. Like, we should get together. We should talk about it. I'm there for you. And I was there for them. And just all of a sudden, that, like, hitting send, there was something so liberating about it, that I'm like, it's out there now. I can't do anything about it. And as a result, it started this new community of people that I have, this sort of an invisible support group that, I know they're there, they know I'm here, and we can talk to each other when we need to, and reach out when we need to. I've had people that have given me advice with, like, some significant life moments that I don't put out in the public on Facebook, but because I'm not going to, if anybody else wants to talk about their life, they do it, but I'm not going to do that for them. But it's been really freeing.
I think I was actually one of the people that connected with you, not because I experience depression, but my daughter does. And it's something that, it wasn't that I was trying to be private about it, but sometimes you just don't know who to talk to. Just like what you said about your daughter, you have that drywood as well. I've always seen that in you, but so do your posts. And it gives some levity to something that's heavy and hard. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this, for catching up, for connecting. We're going to have a link to do sets, and we'd love for more people to connect like this. Our class does kind of connect a little bit more, I think, than others, but just to be able to start doing that. It's a very charming little production right now, but we're excited about it because the content is so great, and that people literally can connect now, that if they have an interest in what you do, or they have questions about that, or they want to know more about my library, they can contact us and we can talk to them about it.
Yep, I might borrow a book from there. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks so much, Sharon.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us for OutREGIS. I mean, this could be the expired Halloween candy talking, but I think we're getting pretty good at this, right? Sure, we're not perfect, but I think you've seen one big trend happening with these episodes, is that it's not about being perfect. Everything's not shiny and great. I mean, sure, yeah, I may talk a lot about my Etsy shop that I have that I technically haven't started yet because I don't know how to upload videos yet, because my kids refuse to show me how to upload videos. But the point is that I may look like I have it together and that I have an Etsy shop, but really I'm just taking it day by day. We started this series at the beginning of the pandemic, and who knows where we're going to end up. But what is important is that we keep coming back and we keep getting better. So please come back and join us next week, because if we're this good now, can you imagine next week? This is OutREGIS. Bye.